It's your girl Nadia here, and welcome back to my channel for another video. How is everyone doing? Has everyone missed me? Have you guys been going crazy without me? I am so sorry. But today is a new one. It is the 1st of February, so happy Black History Month. Oh my goodness. February is, if it wasn't so cold, it would be my favorite month of the year because it's my birthday. It's Black History Month. It's my birthday. It's my birth month. Today is going to be a first for me. I am sewing. This is my first time sewing with the pattern, so this is a sew along with me. Well, sewing with the pattern. I don't know what I'm going to title the video yet, but I'm so excited. Today I made this beautiful tunic dress from the Simplicity Pattern number 8540 in the size GG, which is a size 26 to 32. I'm going to link a list below of where I got this pattern from, as well as you can find it. I picked this up at Joann Fabrics, but I know you could get it off simplicity.com. I'm going to list both of those linked below. The fabric that I'm wearing today is a kente cloth inspired fabric. I've had this fabric for about almost a year now. I got it last year for a certain event and I didn't get to use it, and I thought it would be perfect. This fabric has been sitting in my fabric box, and I just knew I wanted to use something. You guys probably have seen this fabric before in the background of my old videos, as well as on my head as a hair wrap. I do have that fabric. I just felt like I wanted to use this fabric for something. And when I found this tunic, when I found this tunic pattern, I knew that I wanted to make a dress and not just a tunic top, because it gives you various options. You can make a longer one or shorter one. A longer one or shorter one, and I went to the longer one. So I decided to make it a dress instead of a shirt. So I did my own alterations to the pattern. I'll show you how I did that in the video. If you want to know, unfortunately, the place I got this fabric from is no longer in business. Hancock Fabrics went out of business this past summer. Last summer. So I don't know where you could get this fabric from, but I will link similar fabrics from other places in the description box below. I am so very excited about this tutorial. It took me a long time. Actually, I started the tutorial, the cutting part of the fabric and the patterns, like a few months ago, and the sewing part took me quite a while because it was my first time sewing. Like my second time sewing with a pattern, and this one was very hectic. Other times was just like a simple pair of pants or something else. I can't remember. So this was quite a lot for me to take on by myself, and I did get help from my mom with certain things like the collar and everything. But overall, I do like how it come out. There are a few things I changed about and a few things I want to add on to in future generations. I didn't add the pocket that comes with the pattern, as well as the sleeves. I'm thinking of buying a contrasting color, probably in this yellow or blue, lining the sleeves with so that I can cuff them. Because right now they're unlined, so when I cuff them, that's what they look like. And I don't like that look, so I just got them tucked under. But other than that, I'm very happy with it. I'll show you guys some footage in it. I changed the placket, or where the button is supposed to be buttons here, to button all the way up to get a high collar with the mandarin collar look. But I liked it. You know, I like to show the gold, show a little bit of cleave. So let me guys know what you think. I'm super excited. I hope you guys like this video and tutorial. Okay guys, again we're going to be using Simplicity Fabric number 8140. On the back it shows you the size measure you need for your size on which pattern to cut and how much fabric you need. I'm using this kente inspired cloth. I have about 3 yards in different sections because I had it for a previous project. You're going to need sewing pins, something to cut with, rulers, as well as a cutting mat. Here I'm just laying out the pattern and how it comes with the instructions. It's very detailed. It shows you which one that you would like to cut. There's different forms in each pattern. I'm going with look A, and then from look A it shows you how to cut your patterns on your fabric, so how to fold your fabric and how to cut your fabric out with the patterns for each look that you want. Because my fabric is a different section of pieces, I will be cutting mine a little bit differently. But if yours is one complete 3.5 yards or 2.5 yards, you should be fine. And now we're going to move on to actually unfolding our patterns. Again, they come in large sheets, all usually folded all together. And if you work with patterns before, there is multiple styles on 1 or 2 sheets of pattern. Okay, so I'm just showing you here the layout of how the pattern looks all together before it is cut. And they're usually numbered and with the sets of pieces that you need to complete a complete garment. They're usually numbered, and you want to cut in order off the pattern as well as in order once you cut the actual fabric. It also shows you on the fabric the lines for your sizes. You want to take your measurements. I did not, and that was my mistake. But you want to take your measurements so you know which size to cut. I will be cutting a size 30 because I wanted something a bit looser. What I should have done was cut a size 32 because once you start sewing and the fact that this fabric isn't stretched, I didn't have a lot of wiggle room around my hips. So I did go back and insert some panels, which you will see later on in the video. So right now I'm just carefully cutting out my paper. You want to go nice and slow, but you don't want to go real fast because it is a soft, delicate tissue paper and it can easily tear. So once you have all your pieces cutting out, you lay them out so you know which one you have. You should have 9. For this look, you should have 9 pieces. Your front piece, your back piece, your pocket, your 2 front yokes, your back yoke, your sleeves, your collar, your placket, and then the tabs that you would need to hold up your sleeves. So once you have your pattern all cut out, it's now time to cut your fabric. This is pretty self-explanatory. Once you figure out which way you want your fabric to lay, whether it's stretched or non-stretched, you want to have it stretched with your body, not against your body. And if you have pattern, you want to figure out which way you want to lay your pattern. I'm laying my pattern down the long way because I want the stripes to be going down and not around. I just find that looks better on me, and I just find the way that looks better with the actual pattern itself. So once I have my fabric laid down, I am using my ruler and I am just going to the center of the going to the center of the pattern and lining it up with the edge of the salvage edge of the fabric. It's something I learned when I went to a sewing class, to make sure that that's centered so you have a nice, clean, even cut on all sides. So once I've done that, I pinned down everything so it didn't move. I pinned down the line in the center as well as one of the line around the edges. I started cutting around my fabric, being careful to try to have as clean lines as possible. I'm not gonna lie, I am not the best cutter. That's with either fabric or actual paper materials, but I do try my best to cut as evenly as possible. The cleaner that you cut, the cleaner your seam lines are. Once you have cut out your fabric with the pattern, you want to cut your notches into your fabric so that it's easier for you to go back and line things up. The pattern comes with notches so that you know which notch to line up with which fabric and little darts and stuff, so that you can have things line up seamlessly. Okay, so this is where I ran into a hiccup. After cutting out my front piece, I realized that I didn't have a large enough piece to cut my fabric for the back on the fold, and I didn't know what to do. I feel like I should have cut that first and then cut the front second, but I didn't. So what I'm gonna do is a bit of problem solving. I'm gonna take 2 panels which are the same size, which is 2 yards in length, and about 21 to 22 inches wide. Pin them together so there are basically one large piece that is folded, but it's actually two cut pieces, and I'm going to cut my back panel out of there. So when you're done cutting your fabric, you should again have 9 pieces. You should have one large front piece, one large back piece, in which in my case I have 2 back pieces, your pocket, then you should have your front yokes, which should be 2, and then your back yoke, which should be 1 large piece, and then you should have your placket, which is a large rectangle, and you're gonna need 2 pieces of interfacing with that, and then you're gonna have your collar, which is 2 pieces again, and you're gonna also need interfacing for that, and then you're gonna have your sleeves, which is 2 pieces, and then you're gonna have your tabs, which also need 2 pieces of interface cut with them. And the pattern pieces will tell you which pieces need interfacing. So moving on to the sewing, I'm going to do a base stitch along the curved edges of the back yoke and the 2 front yokes. Basically just to stabilize and curve so that the fabric doesn't unravel against itself and bunch up. Because you want these to lay flat and straight when you're sewing and when they're actually fitted on your body. So once I've done that, I'm just following the directions of the pattern itself, and I'm going to sew in my darts. I created my darts while the fabric was laying on me. I actually did a loose stitch around the garment just to see how it fit on me and the sizing and whatnot. Next, I'm going to do another base stay stitch around the placket opening, the bottom part of the placket again, so it doesn't fold and unravel on itself. Moving on with the instruction, it is time to sew the front yoke to the actual front part of the shirt. You're going to match up your notches, and then you're just going to do a regular stay stitch across the top, making sure that you back stitch at the beginning and the end. Once you move on that, you're going to start your placket. You're going to lay your plackets right side together, again doing a stay stitch, doing a back stitch at the beginning and end. You want to run an iron over it and fold down the seams and trim away any extra seams, and then you want to fold the placket in half inward on itself towards the seam line. And then you want to do a stay stitch on top very carefully close to the beginning seam of where the shirt ends and the placket begins, just to fold down the back of the placket. Next, you're going to add the second side of the placket in the same manner, folding it, pinning it right sides together and folding and sewing it down. And then you're going to take it and you're going to fold it over on itself, iron it out so it has a nice crisp seam edge. You're going to take one side, bring it over towards you. So once you have the placket folded over on top of each other, it doesn't matter which side. I did the right over the left. I am going to pin it down so that the bottom edge of where the placket area is tucked under and lays on top of the edge of the placket, if that makes any sense. Doing this, folding one over the other, is going to bunch up the fabric, so you want to create a nice pleat in the front. I did 2 like pleated darts down the front, and then you're just going to sew where the placket meets the top of the shirt, sewing it closed. So what I'm doing right now is sewing up the 2 back panels of my dress. Remember, there's supposed to be 1 large panel on the fold, but I didn't have enough fabric, so it had to be 2 separate panels.
Once I'm done with that, I'm going to do a loose stitch at the top so that I can go back and I could gather, pull at the seam so that I can do a gathering effect at the back of the tunic dress. This is completely optional. I went back and decided to take it out once I saw how it looked. So right now I'm attaching the back yoke to the back of my dress, my tunic dress, after I sewed up the two sides together. Once you're done that, you're going to sew the top shoulders together, so the two front yokes and the back yoke together. And then once you do that, it's time to sew up the sides of your dress. Again, I went back and added 2 panels on the side for a little bit more extra room because I knew I wanted to be a dress instead of a shirt. So I did have to insert 2 panels so you can see this hem. I tried everything on once I sewed up the side seams and the shoulders just to see how everything looked on me, where I needed to bring some certain things in. And this is when I decided not to add the pockets, as well as not to close up the placket area to that buttonhole. So right now I'm just cutting slits into the outside curve for my hem, and then I'm going to take it, I'm going to do a double hem, a roll and tuck on the hem to get a nice seamless hemline. So when sewing my hem, I went real slow, laying the fabric as flat as possible so I can have a nice smooth hem and not a ripple one like I had in my last DIY, which was really amazing. So moving on, I'm showing you now it's time to add the collar. I had to get some help from my mother on the collar, and because it was really difficult and the instructions was making no sense to me. But just basically you have to choose the collar as 2 separate pieces. You're going to lay down the first piece with the interfacing right sides facing together. So moving on, I'm going to sew the tabs or the straps for the arms to hold up the arm cuffs. And you're going to take those both pieces, sew them right side together, and then you're going to turn that inside out. I used a paintbrush to poke down the edges, and then I'm going to close that off with a simple stay stitch as clean as possible. Once I have the tabs on, I'm going to go to attachment to the shirt. I found the middle of this attachment to the sleeve. I found the middle of the sleeve, and I'm going to attach it to the inside. I tried the outside, didn't like how it looked, so I went back for doing the inside. Once I attach the tab, I'm going to sew up the side of the shirt again. I had to go back and add a little extra room into the sleeve. It was a bit too tight for my liking, and I just brought in the bottom edge because it was a bit too wide. Once I attach the tab and then sew up the sleeve, I'm going to attach the sleeve to my shirt. You guys should already know how to attach the sleeve. I'm going to turn the sleeve right side out and the shirt inside in, inside out. And you're going to put the sleeve inside of the shirt. Once I've attached my sleeves, I'm going to sew on buttons on the outside of the tab so I have that nice decorative effect. I'm not going to actually make buttonholes. I didn't have the mental capacity to do so, so I just glued on some or sewed on some snaps. And once I've done that, you are done. This is the final look. I so love how this came out. It looks so cute. I cannot wait to wear this. This is something I will wear all year round. I'll wear it during spring, summer, and fall. I wear it with my fro out, my hair out, my turban on. I love it. I love the nice little pop of cleavage. I think I'm showing the right amount of skin. My legs are still showing, but not too much. And it fits so good. It's not too tight or too loose or baggy. I absolutely love this, guys. If you guys decide to recreate this or use the same pattern as I did, please let me know. And as always, love yourself fully. Until next time.